Hello everyone and welcome to this kind of impromptu thing. I was definitely a bit struggling what to do today, but also Agonia is not feeling well today. I don't feel well today. So I could have done Pikmin too, but Agonia would not really be there sometimes because she's like up and down, up and down. And sadly that's also mean we can do stuff like Payday 2 and shit. So, you know, we're just shooting a bit and we're yapping doing it. It should be fun, right? It should be fun. They updated some they updated layout and escalation, so I'm gonna play a bit that. Maybe we get Eastwood. And we can see how that plays. And that should be good. God, I'm definitely not definitely not up to par right now. Yeah, what's it again? I think 3 weeks until the next map drops. It's a bit longer this time. Like, ironically, the season is shorter, but the distances between parts is longer. So we're now here. So we have 1 more week and yeah, 2 more weeks actually. Damn, 2 more weeks. Still quite interested in how that works, how the Grandfather remake works out, but yeah. And that's why. God, I didn't even see him coming. Yeah, it was fun.
Take what you can carry.
A bit of defib shenanigans should be. Hmm.
I spotted an enemy tank to your west.
Right, objective echo is under control.
Let's go!
Attack support is needed on the marked objective.
Grab what you can!
And we can take more ground.
Delta has been secured.
Take what you can carry!
Our forces have taken ground. Bravo has been removed from the battle.
Oh, this round is still going relatively well.
Take what you can carry!
Objective Delta neutralized.
We now hold more objectives. Secure our defenses.
Mark objective under threat. Defend the position. Be advised, hostiles have secured objective Charlie. Heavy armored vehicles prepped and ready to go.
mean, still seem to be still winning that one.
Let's go!
We are about to take full control of the battlefield. Stay on target. We are attacking objective Foxtrot.
Okay, we have eyes on enemy vehicle in your area.
Hostile forces hold more objectives. We are close to taking territory.
Oh god, hi bot. And bye bot.
Our troops are attacking Charlie.
Enemy forces have taken territory. Foxtrot is reeling from the fight. Engage all remaining objectives. Attention, attack support is needed on the marked objective.
Attention! Hostile attack confirmed on Echo.
Well, apparently next in the next weeks we're gonna get a heat wave here in Europe, which is gonna be very fun, honestly. Really makes you kind of think about actually investing at least in as in some form of, you know, climate control for because like, listen, I'm a big proponent of just the fact that we need heat pumps in every single building, period. Like, I'm sorry, I think the biggest bullshit I always hear is when people say, oh, you know, houses in Europe are not built for the heat, and like, no. You know, look, most countries, okay, especially nowadays, don't build houses for the heat, okay? Like, American houses are also not that good at, you know, against the heat the moment the AC breaks. Because, like, you cannot tell me that the shitty, that the really shitty, you know, suburban home is suddenly way better at controlling climate than a lot of homes. Just because, you know, it's made out of wood. No, wood just makes your house worse in a lot of ways.
All objectives have been secured.
And it's like, oh, but, you know, but in Europe, yeah, we use concrete and insulation. Like, but that actually keeps heat really well out. Like, that is a big thing people forget about insulation. Insulation works both ways. Like, it's supposed to keep the cold out and, you know, the warmth in, yes, but it can also work the other way around. It can keep the heat out and the cold in. It's kind of dual purpose to a degree. And the irony is, concrete is actually a pretty good building material for doing that, because it's, you know, stone. Now, the irony here is, and I think that is kind of a bigger point to make, you then have to actually add two things, and ironically, I would say, at least in Germany, those actually happen to a degree. You either need to you need to keep either the heat out or transfer the heat out. Now, most windows nowadays in Germany have an extra foil that is supposed to reflect more sunlight. Now, that is not that good compared to shade, which is the next thing I will say. Listen, the main problem the building, for example, me and Agonia live in, is we neither have, you know, the classic plastic or metallic shades that every other German building has, because those are quite literally on the outside of the window and you can roll them down. They literally block the sunlight from reaching the window. That is, and I need to hammer that down, that is genuinely how you keep things from being warm in the summer. Now, big now, okay? If you go and, you know, put all the shades down, you know, the blinding shades down, yeah, it gets dark and you cannot look outside anymore, and that is a problem. But, like, look, I grew up having a room literally on the highest floor of a balcony in the house, where the side to the balcony was all window, and it was southbound. And I survived the summer by putting the shades down. Also, Eastwood escalation. We are trying the new layout. Yay. So no heat even reached my windows. Simple as that. Now, and at that point, I could have probably just at some point been smart and just talked to my parents about that, but for some reason, none of us ever thought about that. What are you doing now, game? Ah! Right. Just put both in again. Because here's the thing. There's one thing that is much, much better, and it's quite literally the thing that just the living room beneath my room had. Awnings. Because quite literally, the balcony that I had shaded the whole window. The sunlight was never able to just fully shine onto it. It was pretty cool in there. And it was one of those, you know, European houses. Sounds more like the difference between European houses and every other house is awnings and ACs. And by the way, again, I do think it is criminal that you can build buildings without either, you know, outside shutters nowadays or awnings. I think that needs to be quite literally just mandated. I think those are like the easiest ways to, like, quite literally. I know we're talking about ACs or especially heat pumps for every building. Yeah, sure, we should also mandate that. But like, one of the easiest things to, at least in Germany, reduce heat stroke is just shutters on the outside. That would already help a lot. Yeah, people can't look outside anymore during the summer. Okay, but literally, what is better, in your opinion? Not looking outside or having a relatively temperate room? The answer is a relatively temperate room. People always attribute shit like, oh yeah, you know, there's like better building, like, no, look. Do we want to talk? Okay, do we really want to talk about architecture that is mainly there for, you know, people and also, crucially, heat control? Do we really want to do that? Because the thing is, if we actually talk about how a city would look like if it was actually built to, you know, be that you can survive in the heat in it, and also, yeah, that it was mainly designed that you can survive the heat without mainly needing ACs, okay? Then every single fucking city would look more like Fez in Morocco. And you're probably looking at Fez in Morocco now and you're like, ah, that's not how my city looks like. And the answer is yeah. Because turns out, if you want to actually build cities that are, you know, resistant to the heat, you will follow a lot different principles than what you're doing nowadays. Because, for example, and this is like actually quite crucial, the fact that society, like in societies in Western and also Asia due to colonization, etc., rely on horse wagons or, you know, generally pulled wagons and cars and trucks means, for example, you cannot really build streets like Fez. Fez is quite literally built with humans in mind and only humans. The streets are narrow as fuck. Like,
Be advised, hostiles still control more objectives.
let me just find a good example. Yeah. Yeah. That's a street in Fez. You can see a bunch of stuff about it. First of all, they built you know, everything quite narrow and the buildings are high. Why? Because that just naturally shades the street. So, you know, it is not as warm in the street as it is, you know, actually outside, because, like, this is in Morocco, this is like North Africa, this is getting hot. Okay? Then you can see a lot of times the street actually, like, the street actually passes through buildings, which more shades. Also kind of useful. Another thing that you might have noticed, or you probably won't notice that much, is that there is also a building technique in, for windows, which they also use, by the way, in India. By the way, similar principle to a degree with German shutters, ironically, because basically you build windows, and you saw that with like ornaments, but like make very small windows in them. What does it do? Well, ever had shutter glasses on? You know, the sunglasses where you can still see through, but they don't use glass, but they still shade you because they're like all fine strips of plastic? Yeah, it's that principle. They just all create individual shadows, and due to that, they shade the inside, but still let, you know, the sun in some areas, and I'm just playing shit right now. Yeah, also, as you can see, by the way, the windows in Fez are very small. They look great, but they're small. And you know why they're also small? This is like actually another thing, because, you know, smaller windows, less sun comes in. Here's the thing. One of the main features that this building style has, and that you see over and over, like there are, you know, beautiful ones, but like also just small ones. It's just quite literally, and you see that, by the way, in a lot of Arabic, like in a lot of Arabic buildings, by the way. If you ever wondered why that is, well, the thing is, buildings and Fez have, you know, now my introduction just gets destroyed because I want to show that my voice gets crushed, and also I can't open the fucking picture. It saves all the time. Oh god, no. Yeah, they have courtyards. And you might now be wondering, okay, Neo, but what do courtyards do? But here's the thing. If you really want to build, again, if you really want to build a housing that is designed to, work against heat, we would be doing all of the things I told you about because courtyards create microclimates. That's, unironically, why they also have small little, fountains in them, because they generally create a bit of vapor, a bit of steam, which also cools down. But crucially, inside of those microclimates, inside of the courtyards create basically a hot air pocket. And you're probably now like, okay, but why hot air pocket? Wouldn't that be dumb? Wouldn't that be counterproductive? No. You know what one of the things is of hot air that it does? It rises. And here's the thing, air kind of works like a liquid to a certain degree. So if you create a courtyard, okay, and remember I said, shaded street outside, courtyard in the center, small windows, a bit of humidity. The hot air at the center of the courtyard rises up. And because this is a microclimate, it creates, it's not a vacuum, but it's basically a low pressure area, meaning air has to be sucked in from the sides. You know, the buildings. So what you're looking at is quite literally the ancient Arabic way of creating ACs for the summer inside of their building. So if someone gets to me and says, building X and Y is not made for the heat, we all are not building for the heat. The only ones that did were the ancient Arabs. And yeah, you can say to a degree, but what about Asia? You know what the answer in Asia was? Awnings. They built under, they planted big trees. They shade. The answer in Asia was they had, quite literally, they made long buildings with a lot of shade, similar how they do in Vietnam and other ones, and they just still have trees. Because in Arabia, you do not have that many trees. You need to be way, way, way more focused in your architecture and how you maximize cooling your buildings. Meanwhile, a lot of other hot countries can basically do simple versions of that. And nowadays, especially nowadays, if you look at a lot of Asian countries or American countries and such like that, again, the suburbs are not built against the heat. ACs do the work. And you know why ACs do the work? Because quite literally, awnings fell out of favor. I'm not kidding. If you're talking to me, if you're telling me, this and this is not built for the heat, you could basically say American housing is not really built for the heat because of, it kind of is just paper mache. That's that. So it's also not really good at retaining heat when it gets cold. Not like that happened a few times now in Texas. It's just quite literally, look, there are some cultural things in, at least in Germany, where I will say we make fun about it, but we just need to stop because, like, as much as we have a fan here and it helps in the summer, we definitely need an AC at some point. And even though I plan to have more storage space there, I genuinely am thinking about buying an AC nowadays, a small one, because, our building doesn't have one. We should get one, because genuinely this is kind of ridiculous that we do not get an AC. And it would generally also not surprise me if someone in this building will die or might die this year or next year, because yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that the building is not really that bad at, you know, the problem the building has at combating heat is shade, not the building, you know? Because like insulated, because that's what people tested. Insulated buildings like in Germany actually really good when you like just put some things on them to shade them. They're actually really good at cooling down, having nice temperatures in the summer. That's just a thing. Like, literally, we're playing on a map, you know, set in Cairo. Look at this. Are those buildings built against the heat? You could argue with the balconies. But you know what? Look what they have here. ACs. Balconies, ACs, shutters on the outside. Those are the things that generally help with heat. Nothing else. Hell, even when I point out the courtyards in Arabian building styles, that is also just an AC 2 degree.
Objective mark. We need you supporting the attack.
Well, then again, I would just say the Brits have it the worst though. Like quite literally, the irony is, you know, when I said that German buildings are actually pretty good at also keeping heat out, you know, as long as you shield them from the heat in terms of shade. Yeah, so the irony is the British homes just heat up. Like, I think in the UK you can actually say, yeah, the houses are bad. Because, you know, they don't have the whole insulation thing to have the little bit of, nope, no heat touchy. Still, shaded and cool homes are still better in the UK, don't get me wrong, like, holy shit.
Objective Charlie has been secured.
But yeah, by the way, that if you're wondering, by the way, oh, is that why, you know, pulling those indoor shades in front of windows isn't helping someone? Yep, that's why it only marginally does things. Like, okay, actually, if you do it with an open window, it helps. I know it sounds weird, but here's the thing. Remember I said the light is not supposed to enter the room. If you generally have like, if you open the window and the outside air can circulate away always, even if it's hot, and you have like your cloth then there, that is actually a separation. But the moment you close that window, you trap you trap air between the window and the cloth, heating up and still dissipating in the room. It's kind of dumb, but yeah. They really only work when your window is open to a certain degree. So, hey, heating tips. Worked for us. Like, for example, in the last summers, we usually had it so that one window was open, if not both. Heavily dependent on pollen, because Agonia is allergic, and, you know, also to grass. You know, the one pollen type that doesn't stop during the summer. Wonderful. Anyway, we have one with a pollen net. We can just keep one open. Not a lot of light will enter our room. And we have like a fan running. That is actually helping, genuinely. But yep.
Enemy forces have taken objective Charlie.
I'm genuinely not lying when when I was saying people need to get over the myth of, you know, buildings built against the heat. The difference is ACs.
The enemy has secured Charlie.
And ironically, again, the moment you introduce ACs, the whole principles that that insulate a building really well during the winter is also the same. Is also the same thing that makes it actually pretty well resistant during the summer. You know, again, as long as you have shade, because again, heat management is mostly shade management. That's, by the way, why in relatively, you know, uncrowded rooms with enough shade, the normal fan actually works relatively well, because at that point, you know, there is a small stream of air. There is less shade in there's shade in the room, so it doesn't get that hot, and also your own body can sweat. And let's be clear here, that is good. I'm also like almost considering to look into getting one of the cooling jackets from Japan, because, okay, so they have jackets in Japan that you are supposed to wear in, you know, the summer, that have like small fans that suck in air on the back and basically blow up while you wear them, but air, you know, still gets out around the neck and the arms. So yeah, basically your sweat can actually do the work it's supposed to do, and hooray, you cool down. Which is something they apparently did, which was invented for workers in the heat. So yeah, it works. It's good. You can use that. Multiple people. Yeah, that actually kind of makes me always a bit angry. Like, it's not angry, it's more I'm annoyed because oh wow, it just that's a new bug. But yeah, it's just like, listen, I know it makes it easy to say, look, they are not built for the summer, or look, they are not built for this and they are not built for that, and look, no. Most of the time, it really is just like, we have stripped shit and replaced it with other stuff. That's it. Like, seems like the game is a bit bugged. Now that we have to switch, maybe? I don't know what. I guess solo Payday 2 stuff? Trying out new guns and stuff? I don't know, could do that. And this is generally just because, you know, I don't know anything else that I could be doing. Hey Quant, how you doing? Generally, but like, if after this round I will be thrown up again, I might generally just do some, I don't know, maybe just put on some Payday 2 and try out the flare gun and see how that one plays. It's definitely been a day. Hope you can survive at least the rest of the day. And that is not too bad. Just doing some pew-pew, you know, because like I'm generally not feeling that well, and well, Agonia also not that much, so you know. Damn, someone started being. Since they reworked vehicles, players are generally more aggressive, and I like that. But I think a lot of people always talk about oh, building X is good for the heat and building Y not, and then just like always forget that. Listen, buildings in the USA are also not good for the heat. You just have ACs, and at some point we need to also ask if we should even have that many ACs. Like, you know, for example, I totally get it with Asian countries. Like ACs are generally good. Like solar heat pumps, they're like quite literally the closest thing to free energy to, you know, roughly quote technology connections. But like look, they still take up some electricity. They're just not that bad as most people say. Like they're not even like fixed installed ones. They're generally really good. We can use them. We all can use them. They're good. They're good. We should have more of them. But doesn't change the fact that maybe, just maybe, we should have still more, you know, quote-unquote shade-focused design on buildings, and we can retrofit a lot of that. Again, outside shutters and awnings. Very easy. Very simple. Only problem is then that people then bitch like, oh no, but awnings don't look that good. Well, do you want shade or do you not want shade?
Grab what you can! Attention! Enemy attack is underway on Delta.
All units, territory has been taken by our forces. All no longer active.
And like, you know, to a degree, I will also, I will say, getting some notes from like maybe the Arabian building style is not a dumb idea, especially for, well, cities. In the countryside, it's, you know, harder, but then again, the answer is, again, shade. How would the youngsters say we should be more shade maxing? That's quite literally just like the main thing when we talk about buildings meant to. It's like literally what you just kind of do when it's about, you know, oh hey, how do you make buildings that are resistant to the heat? You maximize shade. That's like the whole thing. And again, also just pointing this one out. I know that then people say, oh yeah, but you know, buildings, you know, are made for one. No. Again, as I said before, when properly shaded and with equipped with ACs, German houses were actually really good for the summer, because again, turns out if you insulate your building, it can actually also prevent heat from getting into the building. Useful. However, and this is the thing where I will say, you all have free reign. I'm letting in you on the biggest secret. When any British person will come out and say, yeah, but our houses are not built for the heat, they're built for the cold. No, your houses are shit. Quite literally, people compared, you know, how well houses across Europe retained or, you know, retained or, you know, protected from heat. And turns out, British houses are just equally shit at both. That's a thing you need to keep in mind. When the British won their houses, they sneaked this whole thing about, oh yeah, it's built for the cold in there. No. German houses are built for the cold. You will not have a cold day in a German house if you let it to. Quite literally, we need to like turn on the heating once or twice in those during this winter, and not even a lot. And this is just like during really cold ones. Like this is when it reached minus 10 degrees or lower. Like when it was really fucking cold. Then we had to turn it on a bit. we could still do Stoßlüften. Because, like, the heat from our PCs and generally electronics and just me and Agonia together, that was enough. That is enough. The main problem we just have is, you know, not letting sunlight in the summer. And that is just like, again, if we all had shutters, which are like very common in Germany actually, not the biggest problem. And then, you know, just like general uses of ACs, that would also just help a lot.
Take what you
Anyway.
can carry.
We hold the majority of objectives. Keep it up.
Yeah, but British homes, oh, they just suck. Don't let any British person ever go, yeah, our homes are not built for that. They're built for nothing. They were built cheaply. They like equally shit at keeping heat out and retaining heat. Because turns out if you just slap something together with some brick and mortar, it's not that good.
Advise the enemy now control more objectives.
Because then you have stone that gets, you know, remember the whole thing about shade? Yeah, if there's not a whole line of insulation between the outside and the stone, the sun will warm the stone, and that stone will then warm the inside. Oops.
Enemy tank! Who's that rocket?
Similarly, it will cool down in the winter.
The enemy holds more objectives. They will take
It radiates a lot of heat because, like, generally, British homes are just kind of shit. Like, on average, they're just pretty shit. It's not that there are some good homes in Britain. It's just, again, on average, they just have the worst houses in Europe. That's not what B says. That is just, like, literal statistics.
Alright, we have captured Alpha. The enemy has captured Bravo.
And, like, again, I would love to have, especially when we talk social housing, okay? I will say, I'd actually be very down with more of the Arabian model of, you know, higher buildings, more shaded, walkable streets, courtyards. Absolutely down for courtyards with a bit of a fountain in the middle. Absolutely love that. We should totally do that more. I put a pool there. They did that in Vienna, so, you know, public pool would be cool. Anyway, but like just a fountain there, just a little courtyard. You'll have the microclimate do its wonders. I do think that would be a good investment actually in making some building regulations. But yeah, the difference is AC. Sorry, sometimes it is that easy.
Objective Charlie secured. We now hold more objectives. Secure our defenses. Objective marked. Support the attack.
You know, it's kind of similar with the whole egg debate, right?
Thank you so much!
Like, look, people are like, oh, look, the
Let's go!
in Europe they do not wash eggs because it retains, you know, the outside cuticle, I think it's called, and so you can have them around longer without refrigeration. Yeah. Also, other you know, other things can enter the egg potentially, but also like, look,
Needed on the marked objective.
you know why Europe can allow itself to do that? Just like very bluntly. It's the same reason we forbid chlorinated chicken. Because our chickens are vaccinated. That means all the eggs in Europe generally have just less chances of being infected with anything. Because yeah, we leave the, the natural, they basically just get a bit of a scrub. They don't get fully washed like in the USA with soap. They just like get dirt removed and that's it. And yeah, that's why you can keep them out for longer. But also, spoiler, we also refrigerate them because guess what actually increases the shelf life the most for eggs? The only difference is that, if you do it the European way, you don't need to refrigerate as fast. And here's another thing. You can see this as an upside. On the other hand, and this is also kind of crucial, it doesn't really make the American eggs less safe. Yeah. Your chickens are not fully vaccinated or treated as good, but let me be clear here. That's why you chlorinate your fucking chicken meat. Works. Now you can talk about the approaches and like if the Americans adopt the European model, if that would mean better treatment for chickens, etc. Because that actually genuinely worked out in Europe for just better animal handling. Because we just literally forbid that shit can go through the. We fix everything in post-production. Oh yeah, I just did that. American chicken, you're the MCU of chicken dishes. You just fix all your problems in post-production. Europe, you better do it right with practical effects. Okay, no, that is, maybe that had something, I don't know. Fuck it. Generally, it's just, it both works. They're both safe to eat. And when people are like, oh, but who also washes the eggs? Japan. And people bitch all over like, oh, Japan has eggs so clean, you can eat them raw. You can also eat European eggs raw, they're completely safe. But yeah, salmonella on the outside, you just need to maybe do a very small dip in hot water and salmonellas are dead. Salmonella are not like... They're generally just a problem the moment you get them, without a bit disinfection. It's not a big problem. Heat, literally, just a bit of heat kills salmonella. It's kind of incredible how... Well, let me put it like this. The fact that salmonella stays around even though you can, like, so easily avoid it. Yep. And there's always this thing, oh, what country X eats? Yeah, there are a lot of products eaten raw, and it's not the biggest problem. Like, millions eat raw pork in Germany each day. And there is... And people keep saying, oh, maybe we should stop doing that. And it's not a big problem. It's the same with buildings. The reason why, countries that have just earlier problems, stronger problems with heat, just adopted more ACs, and Europe just never really had that problem. And then it got like intermixed with a lot of dumb ideas, and that is changing now in real time, because turns out as much as you see on YouTube videos joking about, oh, you're not going to have an AC because that is un-German. People buy heat pumps because at the very end, the moment that your house is hot and you get basically the option of, hey, this thing makes your apartment not hot. You will buy the thing that makes your apartment not hot. It's that easy.
We now control objective Echo.
You have a defend order sent by squad leader. Stay with me! We are targeting objective Delta. Confirming defend order.
Air support confirmed. Pilots are ready to deploy.
Got you! I'm bleeding out, medic! Got you! Attack order has been set.
Again, you know what's also really good against the heat, especially in cities? Like, really fucking good? Like, incredibly good? Removing cars.
We have lost control of Echo.
Like, I'm sorry, no country in, like, basically the first or developing world can claim to be built to have buildings against the heat when their whole cities is full of cars.
Hold the majority of objectives. Keep it up and we'll take more ground.
And look,
Confirming defend
cities here are generally still better at that because, for one, we haven't built like big skyscrapers and shit, and also German cities are, in comparison to like European cities, green as fuck. As in, like, we have so much greenery here. Like, streets lined with trees is just normal. Every evening we have like a small walk, but like every after a night, it's more than a night. Yeah, that's why it's cool. And an interesting thing is, the trees now got their leaves back. The street is now literally dark besides the street lights light, because the trees literally just shut off the light coming from above. Which is, hey, I don't know, more trees would also help against heat. Because it's a next big thing. If someone comes at me like, oh, American buildings, they're built against the heat. Okay, but why do your suburbs don't have trees then? Why are the suburbs big open fucking roads and insular houses? It's not built against the heat. Again, the answer is ACs, but you know, there would be more trees if people really were like, oh, this is about heat. In fact, actually, there's a very old, very popular still. I don't think it is that popular nowadays, but when I grew up, these houses existed a bunch. But there was a very popular time of having vines on your house. Now, there was a lot of for and against it because, you know, people were rightfully pointing out, hey, the vines cling to the outside of the building, and that means you maybe need to have more maintenance. But the whole point of them were they climbed out the facade, especially on the southern side, southern western side, and in the summer, you know, spring, summer, they sprout leaves. So there is like a literal foliage wall against the light on the house. And you know, in the winter, it drops the leaves, so the foliage wall is gone. That was just a thing here. That is actually pretty much thinking very much about heat. It's kind of funny that some of those, you know, myths just stay around because they sound nice, right? Country X actually built their buildings against the heat. I tell you, we'll probably also have problems in you know, Asian houses the moment there is no AC, because not all of them, especially not the newer ones.
Objective.
Contact! Enemy tank! Gonna need AT! I got eyes on enemy tank!
We have captured all mission objectives.
Eh?
We have captured all mission objectives.
Okay, guys, be advised. Enemy jet operating in your area.
Support on the marked objective. Air support confirmed. Pilots are ready to deploy.
I am quite interested though what might be revealed next week at the State of Play. Ironically, now that I think about it, considering they just announced end of support, it would not surprise me if they might actually announce Destiny 3 happening. Which, I mean, might genuinely be the best time to do that now.
Hostiles are engaging objective Delta.
Like, look, here's the thing. I don't really have beef with Destiny 2. I actually tried playing it recently again with Agonia, and I don't know, maybe one day when all the DLC are really cheap, we might try again. But like, look, Destiny 2 has just been on kind of a negative streak recently. And I'm not surprised the game is like almost over a decade now old, and can we just talk about through how much this whole game went in terms of bullshit? Because basically it was like, you know, it started under Microsoft and it was on Battle.net, and it moved from Battle.net to Steam when, you know, they went independent. Then it kind of fueled everything they did. Then, you know, there was the whole deal with Sony. Then the CEOs ran the company into the ground due to that deal. And now, well, I think they kind of tried pushing it further with like the one DLC where everyone said the story was over and it was good, and then nothing. It never really manifested into things because, like, quite literally, this is like an ancient game nowadays, and they always had tech issues. So, I don't know if they will change the engine. Probably. Maybe. Could be. It's just... I'm so not surprised to hear that Destiny 2 is ending, because, yeah, look, the company is now more in control of Sony because, you know, the deal finally clicked, and, I know this sounds horrible, but like this is generally what a lot of the staff wished for, because I can explain it if people are interested, but yeah. Basically, it doesn't surprise me if they say, hey, let's just start working on a new title. This isn't working out. And you know what? Fair. Absolutely fair. And they can, like, they could rework the classes, they can rework this. Like, keep in mind, Destiny 2 basically only exists because Destiny 1 worked okay-ish but had problems, so they made a new version to also have it on PC, which then just kind of retrofitted all of the old stuff in, but then they were like, oh, we have other problems, so we're, like, bringing now in, you know, like, vaulting old stuff, and, like... It wouldn't surprise me if they say, oh yeah, we're making Destiny 3, like, not in a, you know, oh, it's coming out soon, but more in a sense of, yeah, we're working on it, everyone, don't worry. Game seems to be working again. Especially since Marathon apparently just is working alright, which doesn't surprise me. They kind of made a game for a very specific niche of people that apparently really love the game, but look, I am not surprised.
Echo is under attack. We need defensive support on the marked objective. We've lost control of objective Echo.
It is gonna be interesting if Infamous is gonna be there, though. Because apparently that is happening, so... Like, I'm actually kind of surprised to hear that Infamous is coming back, but it's still cool, no?
You're ahead of the enemy. Mission on track.
Actually, way more surprised that Infamous just didn't get a comeback. Aside from, like, you know... I mean, Second Son was there, and I have not played it. I heard First Light was also good, but... It's kind of funny how we had, like, a whole decade of superhero stuff, and only now are they bringing Infamous back? Oh well, mate. Not against it.
Hostiles are assaulting Charlie. All right, objective Charlie has been secured. Hostiles are attacking objective Charlie.
We're attacking objective Echo.
Still don't know. I still don't show the tracking well.
Enemy attack confirmed at Charlie. Objective marked. We need you supporting the attack. Be advised, hostile attacking Bravo. We're still ahead in the fight. Maintain your attack. Be advised, hostiles are assaulting Echo.
The enemy have taken more objectives. marked. We need you supporting the attack.
Let's go! Got back supplies over here!
Be advised, Bravo captured by hostiles. Objective Bravo captured by hostiles.
We've lost objective Delta. Hostiles now hold more objectives. Out.
You have my back!
Be advised, the enemy has taken objective Bravo. Enemy has taken objective Bravo.
Marked objective under threat. Let's defend the position. Our forces are attacking objective Charlie.
Doopy-doo.
We now control more objectives. Secure our defenses. Focus up or we could lose control of this fight. Hostiles attacking objective Delta.
Well, and then you felt like, no, I shoot back, and then, nope. Okay.
Be advised, the enemy now controls more objectives. We have taken Delta.
Nice.
We now hold more objectives. Keep pushing.
I think that's not a bad one to continue. 21, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. Okay, 30.
Attack support needed on marked objective.
Right, we are still controlling the fight. Keep it going.
Enemy attack launched on Bravo.
I don't want to ever touch Empire State. Like, I heard some people to say they should make it a bit bigger and add vehicles. I'm like, I wouldn't be too against it, but like, look, if you go, okay, and you basically make a bit more of a, if you make it so that there's more here, and you can drive around here, and there's like just more stuff to do, and maybe have like one IV on each side, you basically just have Grand Bazaar 2.0, which wouldn't be too bad, but I just want to point out, it would be Grand Bazaar 2.0. Oh, right, I'm not playing Medic anymore.
Okay, Bravo has been secured. The enemy has secured more objectives. Let's rally and counter.
That was whack. Like, wouldn't surprise me. Actually, like, not would say, like, it wouldn't be bad, in my opinion, if they actually made Empire State a bit bigger and make, again, maybe give each side an IV. But yeah. It's not like we would kind of be getting fancy Grand Bazaar
Hostiles
again,
objective Alpha.
just with more verticality.
We've secured Echo.
Maybe I could even add like another set of objectives then. Who knows?
We're winning the fight. Keep it going.
Again, if they actually move this back, they could definitely make like 2 more objectives or so. It would be doable. It would be good actually, but honestly, first they should do the Sobek rework, New Sobek City and what's it called again? Blackwell Fields, because those definitely need it the most. I I suck so much right now. God. It's not one of those oh they're unsavable, like complete rework, we need to save them. Like, it isn't something where I would say like the launch maps from 2042. Those have problems, but they still are like the weakest, and it would definitely help them a lot if they got better. Yeah, now that I think about it, it's not like I dislike Empire State. It's just, the more I think about it right now, yeah, this is just like fancy Grand Bazaar with more verticality, but also all the interesting stuff on the outskirts of the map is not used. Like, look, all this stuff behind E is actually really interesting, but you barely go there. All the stuff up here, barely used. That's what I mean with, I think, ironically, making the map bigger should mainly make it so that the stuff on the outskirts is used more. Like, you could move E flag up here, move the A flag. The A flag is actually in a relatively good position, but you could like move it a bit further in all the court, etc. Like, that would definitely help it a lot, and make the beat. Maybe make one here in the fire department. The fire department's good, it's just not used. That's like the kind of the thing about a lot of Battlefield 6 maps. They have good parts
Enemy attack confirmed.
that are not used,
Our plan is not working. Find a way to win.
which is just odd. It's one of the things I said with Blackwell Fields, that the military base and the scrapyard should be the center objectives, like the mirrored center objectives. That would help a lot. Damn. They really turned this one around in the last part. Let's see if it has a problem now. Okay.
All units, objectives are ready for capture. Close and secure. You have an attack order set. We have secured Bravo. Objective Charlie secured.
Uh, really don't know what to talk about now. We had a bunch of topics, but big think now. I do wonder where Payday 2 is heading now. Because, okay. So here's the thing. We do know that they still plan some more big updates. And I'm like, okay. Maybe we'll see some skill buffs. I hope we see some gun buffs. I do hope we will see some perk reworks, maybe? Tactics getting a bit of love. That would be kind of nice. The thing is just we also know they are working on new stuff for the game, and it's okay. So here's the thing. They also like Sidetrack Games is now co-hosting, co-running the biggest mod site for Payday mods, Payday 2 mods, and potentially Payday 3 mods when they ever come. Which, you know what, actually very based to be like, no, we shoulder the money here, so, you know, it can stay ad-free, etc. No, they're making money with the game, so might as well. It's good. Definitely think that's a good move. The question is just more like, will they make the ultimate boss move and actually release like an official map editor? Like there are, you know, you can make custom heists and such for Payday. It's doable. It's just, it would be kind of cool. Because, you know, at some point the game will be done. Like this is probably gonna be like 1 or 2 more years of just maybe a heist, some more weapons, probably reworks, and like it's gonna be done. But like, I don't think we will see like a whole nother decade of just Payday 2 content. It would be interesting, to say the least, to have like probably the first game on Steam that just keeps getting paid updates for like over for like nearly 20 years, but
Our troops are attacking Echo.
I don't think that. Look, the irony is that, and I think this is probably going to be more the case, probably at some point they just have to, and let's just put it mildly, remake Payday 2. Okay? But not in the, you know, remake Payday 2 way, but more in the, yeah, they should just finally make, you know, the thing Payday 3 was supposed to be, aka actually Payday 2, but with just better stuff. And it's kind of funny how they, oh my god, did they just, I do not know why they keep this game keeps doing that. I will not use voice chat. Like, here's the thing, okay? And I know this could be seen as a hot take or so, but like, at some point we need to just acknowledge that Payday 2 kind of nailed something here. You know, they just nailed something. And I don't think Payday 2 is perfect. It might actually be working towards being perfect right now. Sidetrack is pretty well on their way of getting there. Like, oh hey, let's balance things in generally more fun ways. Or like, hey, let's have maybe you know, oh hey, people actually liked using the saw being silent. Maybe this is like a crazy idea. We should just make that a feature. Cool. I am definitely very much down with what they're doing. Now a very big question actually arises, and I wonder if they are going to do that. See, was it Tuesday or so? I don't know anymore. But a few days ago we had actually a Payday 2 update, and this was mostly just, hey, here's a bit of crossover stuff from the PUBG crossover. So, you know, you'd think it shouldn't be much. We literally got a new melee weapon, a new sidearm, which actually has some benefits and values apparently to people, and I will probably still try it out one day, so we'll see. But crucially, they actually fixed some heists. Notably, there is no more softlock on Go Bank, which is... Okay, genuine question. Apparently they did have to search for that, so it took a bit, but how the fuck did it take that long? Like, the goddamn softlock on Go Bank was there since Go Bank came out. Why? Why? Okay, why? Why was the softlock there a thing? They just nuked it with one update. And then also, hey, Green Bridge. Enemies cannot see through the bridge anymore. Thank God you can play Diesel D now on the map. Well, you could before, it was just, you know, painful. That's the word, painful. It was just very fucking painful. Because, just so you know, the thing is that on Greenbridge, you're supposed to actually flee, like you flee by going off the bridge and below the bridge. Thing is just, cops could just see through the bridge and shoot you through the bridge. From what I remember, it's like, okay, there were some very bad, like, some sideline blockers just didn't exist. And now they exist. Wow. Took a while, but wow. It's now here.
I got you!
Advise big fucking train operating in your area.
Hey, you stay with me!
But yeah. The really big one? The really big one. There was this thing on Firestarter Day 1. A heist that was not supposed to be stealthed. But you know, you kinda could if you're really good. They made it stealthable. Changed a few things, made it a proper option. It's still hard. It's still like one of those really hard ones to stealth. So, yeah, but they did it, which is insane. Think about that they just did that.
We have lost control of Echo.
So yeah, big question now. Will they make counterfight stealthable? And if so, how? Because, okay, listen. It would be interesting. So, okay, here's the thing. The thing about stealth in Payday is that it was not planned in the original game's heists. And to a degree, the same mentality, even though they actually properly introduced stealth, was still to be found on some launch Payday 2 heists. And I don't think that has changed a lot,
Okay, guys, we have eyes on an enemy
but still.
in your area.
We have lost control of Delta.
And the thing is that you kind of had this on a few heists. Like, for example, very famously, by the way,
Now hold more objectives.
Mercy Hospital. Obviously, that one is very much going in the the whole point is that you can just skip the first part, the first sawing, and like make your life easier, which is cool. We did that once. Probably will do it again at some point. It's generally kind of those one of those cool things of, like, you know, you have a full group, and you know, you coordinate and you just, you know, make your life a little bit easier. Counters fight kind of does the same thing, just a bit more different. Like, the whole point was, you could hold out some stuff from the cops, or that, you know, neighbors see something, you know, take all the hostages, and then start, you know, doing your thing until it gets loud. That is the idea behind Counterfight. Thing is just, people found out how to glitch it. Oh, by the way, remember those courtyards I told you about? Like, they wouldn't have this big openings mostly, but that's what they have. You know, it's one of those. But yeah, people found out how to glitch it. And funny enough, they then put in something to prevent the glitches from being used, to which people also found a counter strategy. Yeah, I did it actually with a bug. It's very fun. Stealthing Counterfeit is actually really, really fun. Like, yeah, to a degree it is waiting. That's just a thing. It's just waiting. And also, you can't do the you can't actually do the money printing to actually have a big payout. That was actually a cool mechanic. The thing is just, if you want to just solve the heist, that was actually pretty fine. And just so you know what you had to do, which and what they tried to counterbalance it, which is kind of interesting that they didn't do it in the how they tried to fix it, but like on the other hand, the fact that overkill is just weird in how they approach stuff, to the point that I'm like, okay, I'm going to be honest with you here. I don't want to shit too much on it because, like, generally I think the post Whiteouts DLC had some of the best heists in the whole fucking game, period. Like, if someone, you know, if we ever stream Payday 2 again, you will catch me rather say, hey, we could do this one loud on DSOD, rather than, you know, one of the original ones, because, good lord, some of the original ones are very annoying on DSOD. While basically all of the later ones are just really fun heists, even in, like, stealth and loud. Best example, by the way, Black Cat. Like, you know, people like the Golden Grin, but the Black Cat is better than the Golden Grin, and they're both casinos. Crude Awakening, also fantastic. It just, like... Look, I don't know who they lost, like, quite literally, between making the last Payday 2 DLCs and Payday 3, because Payday 3 heists are just bad in comparison. And then you have the other fun part of, a lot of shit just was very weirdly done. Like, okay, so here's the thing about the glitch in Counterfight. Basically, you need to take a dead body and place it, kind of glitch it onto an archway, so that the two cops that will spawn at some point basically get glitched, because they get attracted by it, but they cannot get close enough to the back to actually trigger the whole, oh, we are alerted now. So they're just like in the corner, and you can, you know, basically wait up until you grab the, you know, the printing press, the printing roll, and then, you know, it's fair game anyway, which is fine. It's fun. So the hilarious part then is the escape is through the sewer, and I shit you not, by the way. So the whole thing was, you glitch the two cops by, you know, throwing it back in an unintended spot. You, which was also just odd. You then, basically just wait until you get the printing press and printing roll, and at that point, the heist just goes loud, but you can, like, immediately flee through the sewers and done. So what is their solution? Putting the beefiest shields available, like 3 of them, right in front of the sewer gate. I find it so hilarious, because the only change people had to be making, and not shitting you here, was just taking a ballistic sniper rifle. Then you could one-shot like one or two of them, jump in the sewer, and fuck off. That's it. That's the whole goddamn heist. Which is cool. But again, you need to keep in mind, they spawned enemies in front of the sewer instead of fixing the glitch area. So at some point, I'm just like, what? And yeah, considering Sidetrack Games just has a record right now of fixing the game. Like, at some point, I'm just like, did they even know how to use their own engine? Because it sure as shit does not seem like that. Otherwise, I cannot explain how Sidetrack like instantly went for, oh yeah, we just start fixing zip lines, we start fixing, you know, hostages, etc. You know, at some point, you just kind of think, hey, you could have all of that in a better engine. Like, you know, maybe with some, you know, different weapon handling, like, definitely better than the thing that Payday 3 does, but before we get to Payday 3, and, you know, maybe they could actually get some ideas from Payday 3 in, because like for example, I don't think the overkill weapons are a bad concept per se. It's just they kind of have the most boring ones going right now. Like, just for example, look, the newest one they added is just a rocket launcher. It's not bad, but like, keep in mind the two odd ones is like there's a jammer and there is a baseball bat, which is like the 1 melee thing in the game. Why is the saw not an overkill weapon? I mean, yeah, the saw for loud and saw for silent is different, but like... At some point, I'm wondering why is that not considered as like, oh, you know, you can drop in the saw and just start, you know, opening things with it. Or kill dozers. It's an interesting thing to, you know. Like, there are some neat ideas in Payday 3. I think that a potential Payday 4, and like I think at some point they should do it, because like I don't know how long they can stretch the diesel engine, even though damn, they're doing a good job at it. Like, they could make a good sequel, you know? It's just, maybe don't let some very misguided guy do a very dumb idea of a game. Like, holy shit, the base game was so bad. But like, ironically, they are so in a, how should I put it in the best way? They are kind of unable to make updates that are just good. They always make updates that on the surface seem good, but then also just kind of piss a few people off to a degree that are actually still playing the game. And I'm just like, it's kind of amazing that they just keep doing that, you know? If you're not wondering, okay, what are you talking about? So for example, the obvious thing is, oh hey, we bring back a skill tree a la Payday 2. And they basically make it so that all of the interconnected skills like the are not there. It's basically just, oh, you want to have an SMG build, you pick the SMG skills. Oh, you want to have an assault rifle build, you pick the assault rifle skills. That's it, that's how it works. And you know, you're still missing stuff like being able to equip the saw or shit like that. Like the unique stuff is not really there yet. They're mostly just normal guns without like a lot of things to work around with. But well, so that's one thing they did. And then you have the other fun part. Now, because afterwards, people are now like, oh, so they're reworking heists now, and generally people are, and I will be clear here. People are saying yes, this is better.
We have taken Delta.
Not like perfect, because like you could still have maybe some more pre-planning and stuff, but still, like for example, No Rest for the Wicked was reworked, and people are now like, oh yeah, you know what? It is kind of cool that there is more randomization. But then there's one thing, and we will get to that. And then there is now they redid Turbine Station, which a lot of people now say might be a little bit too mind-numbingly easy, but still not, you know, bad. But also, then we get more into the, oh, I think they might have overlooked a few things here. They made Turbine Station from a stealth-only heist to a heist you can also play in loud. Now, look, on paper, I don't think this is like the biggest problem. However, even in Payday 2, there are not a lot of stealth-only heists. I think we have exactly three compared to so many loud heists. And I think a lot of the stealth-only heists work really well being stealth-only because they can afford to be smaller scale, you know. They have like different options, and like, look, I know that a bunch of people say like the only critique for Shadow Raid is like it's a warehouse. Fair enough. Shadow Raid is still cool because the whole point is here's a very big warehouse with a lot of guards and a lot of random stuff that could happen, and like an extra big safe you need to crack open, and you're not supposed to do it loud. It's literally the idea of you rob them blind while they don't notice it, and that's the only way you can do it. Similar Turbine Station, it's also very much a map that is, I mean, ironically I would say Turbine Station and later the Yacht Heist, which we get to, kind of share the same idea of, you know, being actually relatively small maps in comparison to, well, Shadow, was it Shadow Raid? It was Shadow Raid, yeah. But the thing is, at the very end, these quite small maps worked pretty well because, you know, yeah, you didn't have to have a lot of routes to run around. You just did your job and you went out. So, you know, going into the, finding all the parts in the trains, pulling all the, loot out through the, underground section. That was cool. Similarly, the yacht heist. Holy shit, it is just a small yacht full of civilians. And you need to find, like, marked money packs, and the cool thing is you throw them out of the window. And then you also need to work your way downwards to, I think delete, some, mainframe. it's a good heist. Pretty small, kind of cool, loops around itself. A great one. I love it. But those were it. You had like no other stealth heist in the game, and like no other stealth only heist. All the other heists either had optional stealth or were optional stealth. A lot of not like just literal loud heists. And that was it. So making Turbot Station loud is a bit dumb in Payday 3, considering, you know, that was the only stealth heist. There are more, like, I think you can actually... Oh, which one? I think every heist has stealth optional, except, you know, the bridge heist, the armored transport thing, which I do not think they will make stealthable if they ever rework that, which is probably quite ironic. But yeah.
We're still ahead in the fight. Maintain your attack.
The point that actually makes me question. See, the thing about Turbot Station slash Murky Station and 2, this was one of the this was the stealth heist. But in Payday 2, they you know, remember they also had Shadow Raid. The thing is, they reused Shadow Raid to make Meltdown.
Attack on Bravo is underway.
So basically, same layout. During the day, it was loud only, but you stole something completely different.
Our forces have neutralized.
Meltdown was fantastic. I fucking love that heist. It's dumb. It's janky as shit because it was like the first time they tried vehicles. So I'm like,
Objective Charlie.
listen, I don't know if Sidetrack will ever fix vehicles, but oh my god, it would be so good if they fixed vehicles. Because then I could actually do the biker heist with Agonia, and Agonia wouldn't scream at me because she's... I'm talking about Payday 2 heist, and that they might, that I hope they rework how vehicles handle Payday 2, because then we could do the biker heist and you don't scream at me because the bikes are shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, otherwise I'm talking about also about how in Payday 3 they always keep doing shit that pisses people off to a degree. As in, like, you know, Murky Station slash Turbot Station was reworked, but you can now play it completely loud, which is just like, cool, you removed like the one stealth only heist in the whole game. Which is kind of hilarious.
It's kind of a problem in this kind of game, because either
Controlling the fight.
you make it stealth only, or like make the stealth part really, really fast.
Yep.
Because otherwise, if you fail stealth heist, you are in a stealth build in a loud heist, which means restart. But if you can do it in roughly the same time in loud, you can go there with a loud build and have basically no problem, which makes stealth kind of useless.
Yeah. I mean, stealth should be there to avoid the combat. You know, that's the thing. But
For that,
yeah.
you would need to make the combat hard baseline.
You know, a thing that they kind of did in Payday 2, but then just keep flip-flopping in Payday 3, and listen, at some point Payday
But for that, you would need to remove the difficulties
to a degree,
if you wanted that.
yeah. Oh well. I think what they have now is good, but yeah, I mean in Payday 2, I'd say. But I don't mind the system. The thing is just the irony what they also removed and this is what I'm getting at, which also people pointed out, even though they said, yeah, the reworks are not bad. So the big feature in Payday 3 was unmasked stealth. So basically, at best, maybe one person or so was actually masking up, because if you didn't mask up, there was the thing that, you know, you could be actually escorted out of areas because people are like, hey, you're just a civilian, you're not supposed to be here, instead of being like, oh no, you're a criminal with your mask on, that's a problem. So there was like quite literally the option to just walk out of the bank with the money bags on your back without any of the guards noticing, which is, and I will point out, hilarious and fantastic, and I think they should have done that more. Now, guess what they removed in both heists they reworked in Payday 3? The one feature Payday 3 had over Payday 2 in terms of stealth. You have to use the mask now. Which is... I don't know how to say it in a better way, but... Again, I wonder how they keep managing to just do things that piss people off, even if they should actually make people like the game. It's kind of fascinating. Truly. Truly. And this, you know, by the way, for everyone who thinks it all, this doesn't mean that Payday 3 is on its own in the whole history of video games a bad game. It's just kind of bad in comparison to Payday 2. Again, I'm still wondering if we are getting like actual real counterfight stealth. I'd adore that. I would love that.
We've begun our assault on Echo. You have an attack order set by squad leader. Controlling the fight. Keep it going.
Nice hit. Enemy down. Destroy the objective! Take it to him! Enemy down! Charge lane!
You have an attack order set.
Need a medic!
Go.
We're attacking Charlie. We're attacking objective Echo. taking more objectives. Confirming defend order. We have lost Echo. Our forces are hitting Delta. Objective Charlie neutralized.
We've lost objective Bravo. Objective Bob. We need to support in the attack.
Our forces control more objectives than the enemy. Hostiles are assaulting Charlie. Alright, we're controlling the battle. Good work.
Get to my position! Cement supply! Grab what you can!
Hey, I owe you one.
Defend order has been set.
Doopy-doopy-doo. Yeah, it's probably also close to being the last round, even though it's over soon. Maybe we can do another one. Haven't had Eastwood. I should force Eastwood escalation and see how the new layout is. Tried getting it the natural way. I guess for the last round we just force it.
Objective Echo is now under our control.
E-
Tracking an enemy vehicle east of your location.
Let's see what we get this time. If not, we look for You know what? Actually, let's literally just force escalation on these squad. Hey. Oh, damn. It's already so late that we get a bot match.
All call signs, you are clear to engage. We need to hold more objectives so our forces can take control of the battlefield.
Oh yeah, right. It also is now up here, which is definitely better. Damn.
Move to attack the marked objective.
Eyes on enemy vehicle bearing
This is what we're fighting over now. Honestly, not the worst idea. We have a pool to fight over now. Hey, rubber duck. Because that house was just a bit... The other is definitely better integrated into the neighborhood.
Enemy attack confirmed at Alpha. The enemy has a lead on objectives held. They're about to
Those were just always flattened, so I think the move to B is the move of B is not bad. C and D also moved, so very interested in seeing how that plays out, because now we actually fight over this, which... Yeah, why didn't we do that before? Generally, this was always in a hotspot. Why was this not the zone?
move to attack the marked objective.
Honestly, that's a good change that we have to fight down here with vehicles and such. Definitely better. I think they made escalation definitely better overall. Here we go.
Move to attack the marked objective.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
The enemy have taken more objectives. Our forces are attacking objective Charlie. Be advised, we need to ride the fence of the marked objective. We are attacking objective Delta. We've secured more objectives. Let's hold it. We've lost control of objective Echo. We are attacking objective Delta. The enemy has secured objective Delta.
It is kind of cool how there are still firefights in here, but definitely more people are getting like the clubhouse is less. Everyone clashes in it, and it's more you know, people tracking through it.
Good fucking job. Keep it up.
Because beforehand, like, people just craft vehicles in here. Yeah, the shotgun. Oh.
Move to attack a marked objective. Echo is being captured by hostiles. Our forces hold a majority of objectives. We're close to taking ground.
Get out!
We're taking Delta.
Yeah, I think the new layout is actually pretty good because while it moves some stuff closer together, I think the big difference between what moving C and D outwards is generally and this is, by the way, one of those things where like very small changes can have huge impact. Because it spreads people out more. They use more of the inner territory to actually maneuver around instead of, well, you all need to be inside of the clubhouse, so it's just, the clubhouse grind.
We've lost objective Foxtrot. Be advised, objective marked. We need you supporting the attack.
They're absolutely not surprised that some people are now also leaking that, to catch on an earlier topic, that there is that Bungie is working on Destiny 3, which is just like that there has been, I think the sad part is that this is now probably I would say probably more make or break than it should be. Because, like, I'm sorry, Destiny 2 was overstretched as a game, and they should have long done Destiny 3. Like, they should have started with the sequel after the final, like, at least during the final shape. And also, like, maybe have some expansions still lined up, smaller ones. Maybe we do something, bring old content back, all that stuff, but like, not, run it into the ground and then have it then basically be like, okay, maybe we now do Destiny 3. Yeah, no, that was not the best idea, was it? Similarly, oh hey, Marathon needs to kind of fill a gap. Oh, you made a game for a very, very specific niche audience. That's cool. Have you had any fallback ideas for people that might not be that into it that much? No? Oh yeah, You see the problem, right? If anything, Bungie's just like overstretched now, and good lord, bad planning is like I mean, it's not like, Sony has to basically right the boat from literally just like, I think 5, no, not 5, like half a decade of very bad decisions. Basically all the basically all the games that kind of kept things running now need a little bit more overtime. Like, I'm sorry, but ironically, Saros is also not going that well, which is okay, let me just be clear here. Saros had the worst launch. Period. And
All call signs. Hostile
like,
hardcore
I don't think that it's going to be it for Housemark. Like, I do think Housemark will probably just stay, keep making games, because I think that's, like, what is happening now. They're mostly, like, filtering, hey, can you keep making games? Do you have pitches? Do you have anything that is viable? And I think Saros and Housemark and Saros and stuff, and Returnal, those were viable games because, you know, they were kind of made on a bit of a budget. But, you know, at least Returnal made money, and Saros can also still make money. It's just... Look, Saros was just like... Okay, let me put it like this. Returnal was something new, it was a cool idea, and it came out during basically a dry period. Which can happen, you know... at the beginning of the year. So people bought Returnal, and it was cool. This is why, you know, a lot of people bought Returnal, even though there wasn't, like, a lot of PlayStation 5 sold. Now, and this is a crucial thing, Saros, from what I also heard from people, is not by far a bad game. It's weaker than Returnal. Which isn't good. But still, being weaker than, like, the previous game, it's not like usually a death sentence. You know what was a death sentence? Resident Evil 9 and Pragmata. It is like the 1-2 punch of everyone is like kind of excited for one single player game, and then all of your audience gets swept up by everyone being you know what, fuck it, they're obsessed over Diana. In all sorts of ways. And a lot of them were dumb. Yeah, Pragmata just like... Quite literally, I was like, wait, Saros is coming out while playing Pragmata. And then it's just like... That's your problem, in a nutshell. I genuinely think if Saros was delayed until June, you know, it probably would have done better. Or just like by a month. Like, I think the game would have just done genuinely better. Just, you know, people had another payday. There is just like a bit more room. They may have already finished Pragmata. It's not like, again, Capcom games, they're not long. And Pragmata is selling okay. I think they probably have over 3 million now, which is good. But yeah. I'm actually very interested in what they announce next week. Very much. I mean, hell, we all are, like, I don't think Sony will go down. By far not. And, like, here's also a thing I will point out. Never in hell will Microsoft take over. I know some people are claiming that, but fuck no. Listen, look, the best console Microsoft ever had was the 360. The 360 sold less than the PlayStation 3. It barely scratched 80,000. That was around the SNES and NES. I think NES was, not even the SNES was worse. NES. That's not bad. That's not, like, the top tiers. The Xbox One barely scratched 50,000. 50 million, I mean. Xbox One Series X. According to the guesses, range between 25 million and 40 million. You notice the trend is downward again. PlayStation 5 is nearly cracking 100 billion, and that is with the RAM shortage. People are still buying consoles. Like, the problem we have with online discourse about this is just so many people live in their own bubble. Like, look, when people say, oh, it's going to be a problem for Sony if they go exclusive single-player games again. That's, by the way, a thing. Multiplayer games will be multi-platform, which is smart, because you need, like, for multiplayer games with crossplay, it just makes more sense, because you want as many people as possible playing your game. Period. It's not a dumb idea. However, generally, everything else, why would a business strategy that worked for over 30 years suddenly not work anymore? Why would it suddenly not work when it quite literally, and I would point out, we had the numbers. Yeah, it was a bit more money, but like, not that much in comparison to the exclusive titles. It at best even deteriorated people from just buying it on the console. Wasn't worth it. I mean, like, but it will. No. Look, I know it. I get you. It sucks. Like, look at me. If I want to stream PlayStation games, this means I either stream those they actually ported to PC, or I will have, I will need a PlayStation in my streaming setup. Else I can't do it. Now, on that regard, that note, this is why for me it is extremely easy for me to stream Nintendo games. Because I do not need, I just need a second dock, which is cheap, to play. That's it. For PlayStation, I would need a second PlayStation. Or I would need to, you know, remove my PlayStation 5 and build it up again, and I don't want that. And yeah, second PlayStation, especially right now, that's expensive. So yeah, for me, that sucks. Having games available on PC just makes streaming easier. But like, that's a me problem. If it's just playing about playing the games, I can do that all the time. And that counts for nearly everyone. Because here's the thing. People that will only play on PC will always only play on PC. They are not a market you should cater to. These are just people that will ignore you if you're not on PC. They will emulate your shit. They're doing that with Nintendo. And listen, did anyone ever tell Nintendo that is a bad strategy to have exclusive games? No, because, you know, people have double standards. But that's a different point. I mean, there are people who say that, but like the majority of people would never say that. And like, and I get it, but like, at some point, it's just like, they need people to get back into the ecosystem again. It was a bad idea to follow Microsoft, which, you know, by the way, Microsoft sales also tanked due to that, but they also mainly tanked due to Game Pass, which it is still so funny that people say, oh, but Game Pass brought in players, and it doesn't bring in money. There is a reason they do not want to sell the next Call, like, quite literally. The main reason they bought Call of Duty was to put it on Game Pass. The main reason they keep it multi-platform is the majority of people play it on PlayStation, where they pay for it. That's where the most income comes. And they literally have estimate of losing money on it. So, lol, LMAO, the next Call of Duty will probably not be on Game Pass. Because it's losing money. And the reason Microsoft is just around is for one reason. They have money to burn. They can subsidize their console business. You know, aside from the fact that they're making money from Israel, the Israel Armed Forces, so just throwing that in. This is like your decision. If you're like, yeah, no, I'm fine with a console rolled by by blood money. Sure, that's your decision. If that's worth it, I don't know. But yeah, I don't really think there will be too much of a difference once again.
We've secured more objectives. Let's hold it.
I'm still very interested in what they announced, because I do think the reason they have another big one is while they probably still are going to do their, you know, they do Marvel Tokon, etc., and, you know, Wolverine, there is definitely going to be a big refocus on, like, hey, we're going to make a lot more single-player games again. And I'm not surprised they're doing that. Because as we know from before, single-player, like, quality single-player games is what gets people onto, like, look, live service games can be fun. I'm playing some. Crucial thing, by the way. There is a viability of live service games. First of all, you have multiplayer titles. If you do not have a thing that genuinely sticks the landing in terms of its idea, you will crash. There's a reason Battlefield is still going and has like over 1.5 million individual players each week on PlayStation. Why? There is nothing else but like Battlefield. Delta Force is there, but Delta Force is bad. So, you know, they have a unique thing that people want to play and will play. Similarly, as much as I will say, if they just give me an old title again, I would probably play it. Call of Duty. The era of Call of Duty clones is over. You want to play Call of Duty or Zombies? You have to play Call of Duty or Zombies. Despite the Gen AI bullshit in it. Oh yeah, by the way, the next Xbox console will have AI again. As much as they talk the good talk right now, let's not forget they lied. And like, oh, but yeah, look, Phil Spencer. Here's the thing. I would say Phil Spencer was still probably the most honest chef at Xbox, and he lied as well. The whole point of Xbox was there were basically people at the top that didn't know what they're supposed to do, had bad business ideas, and they kind of ran into ground. And again, Phil was maybe the best of them. And I say that as someone that has critiqued this guy since he got the main role as having the aura of a used car salesman. I will be completely honest. You cannot tell me that someone who came from the AI division of Microsoft, that keeps hiring people from AI companies, is genuinely not going to do AI. Those are the people with brain rot. Okay? Those are the people that will force bullshit in. They're just doing the talk right now, because that's everything. Until they follow through, it's all going to be empty words. Period. They have nothing to back it up. And technically you could say that's true for every company. Yeah, but some companies have better track records. Look, if Nintendo says they're going to make a new handheld with new and interesting features, as much as I will say I don't know if those features will actually get me to buy one or will get like people to buy a handheld, like let's not forget as much as the 3DS has like now pretty loyal fan base, and I don't think it is like a bad handheld overall with a bad games lineup. There are more PlayStation Portables sold. Yep, the PlayStation Portable overall was more successful and had more people buying it than the 3DS. which you don't think nowadays, but think about, but like truly, you will see it in the generational difference. Like a lot of younger people have had a 3DS and not a PSP. You will see the difference. Anyway, that's just a different point. The numbers at the end lie, but don't lie. But like, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if they do it. It's just like more of an, am I going to be interested in that? Because like, look, the 3D feature of the 3DS didn't sell me the console. Pokemon did. Similar, you know, I think the generally the you know, ability to put your handheld in a dock to play it on the TV is probably the best thing they ever had in mind. Even though it made like fans insufferable in claiming it's a console, it's a handheld. It's not a console. I'm so fucking sorry, the Switch is not a console. Because the handheld is the centerpiece. It's where all the technology is in and where everything runs. You cannot separate the monitor from the from, you know, the hardware that runs the monitor. You can only plug in a second monitor. This is like, you know, this is like saying, oh, I plugged in my laptop to a monitor, now it's a full PC. No, it's a laptop, you plugged another monitor in. Okay? Good. Anyway, this is not to say that this is bad, this is like exactly why I will say the Switch worked, and everyone who tries to frame it as a console is not only wrong, they're quite literally one of those people that literally drive misinformation nowadays. Because like, oh, isn't this a bit pedantic? Yes, but it's still misinformation. Just so, you know, a fan base can feel better about it, because they're like, oh, look, they sold it. You know, our console sold so well. Look, the only Nintendo console that, like, console that ever broke 100 million sales is the Wii. And the Wii, quite literally, only broke it because it catched an audience that never came back to games. And you saw that because the Wii had insane hardware sales in the beginning, then basically flatlined, and all the software sales were really fucking bad in comparison. Like, that's it. Nintendo consoles, like literally the two best Nintendo consoles, like actual consoles, are the Wii with over 100 million and the NES with 80 million. 80 something million. Nintendo consoles never sold that well. I mean, okay, the SNES was, I think, 60 million or something. It was fine, but it was a downward trend. Like, what can I say here? That's the statistics. The GameCube was not that surprising if you looked at the N64, and this doesn't say anything about the quality of it. You see me play Pikmin. If I said the GameCube was a bad console and had bad games, I will be strangled by Agonia. If I said the N64 is actually an overrated console with bad games, I would also get strangled by her. Because the thing is, they were not. Just legitimately, the thing is, if you are just a normal person and you had the choice between one hyper-specialized box in your living room that is standing there with just basically hyper-specialized games on it that are fun, but if they are not your thing, that is it. And well, all the hyper-specialized games you can like in some other form, and everything else on the PlayStation 2, you will get the PlayStation 2. Same with the PlayStation 1. And then also, like, this is why a lot of people later bought the PlayStation 3 when it got cheaper. It's also why people bought the PlayStation 4 over the Wii U. That's why people, etc, etc, etc. You're like, oh, but why did the Switch sold? When did Nintendo handheld sell badly? Look, here's the thing. The Game Boy sold fucking a lot. The Color sold a lot. The Advance sold a lot. The DS sold a fuck ton. Because here's the thing. the only, and I will be quite honest with you. I know people pushed handies on mobile. I know there were a lot of other handhelds out there. Mobile phones. I know people pushed. People talked about there were other handhelds, but literally the only handhelds that had consistently, they worked, were durable, were like easy to hold and carry. It just, they worked and had fun games on them, were the Nintendo handhelds. And subsequently, this is what sold. Yeah, you had a Game Boy, and you could play a Game Boy Color. You could play Pokemon on it. Like 2 generations, fantastic games, already worth it. There are the Wario Land games, 3 of them, fantastic games. The Super Mario Land games, also fantastic. Hell, even the Castlevania games started, but then it got kind of okay. Then the Game Boy Advance came out. Wow, SNES style games, and what do you know? Another round of good Pokemon games. You had like Link to the Past was on there. Minish Cap is on there. Oh yeah, there were great Zelda games on the Game Boy Color. They had good portable Zelda games. Like 3 times. They made 3 really good Zelda games on the Game Boy. Yes, suddenly you realize why the handheld sold, right? Because if you wanted to have anything on the go, your choice was whatever the fuck Sega put out. Like, okay, it worked, but like, let's just be real. We all know why we didn't buy it. Nowadays, crappy phones, which are mostly even crappier gacha games or like non-games, and the PlayStation Portable. Look, I'm not really blaming that much Capcom that they, you know, ditched the PS Vita with Monster Hunter, but like, traitors. Anyway, no, seriously, like, let's just be serious here again. Putting Monster Hunter on the 3DS was definitely not a bad choice in my opinion. The big problem is just like, fucking port the old ones, at least the Ultimate games, Capcom. We talked about this before. Quite literally, Freedom Unite, 3 Ultimate, 4 Ultimate, Generations Ultimate, port them. Just give us online play again. I want to have them on a good platform. Okay, yeah, that's why the 3DS sold. It's less than the PSP, funny enough, but like, why did the PSP sell? Oh yeah, right, it was a handheld that was uncomplicated, could play games of really good high quality, and you had movies on there, and an MP3 player, and internet, and honestly PSP was like just kind of pretty cool in what they could, like, there's a reason the PSP all sold the 3DS, it just stunted on that whole system. Only downside was it had just 1 stick. But hey, no, Nintendo handhelds, they always sold for a reason, and the fact they just gave it up, like they gave up the console market and were just like, hey, let's do the one thing Sony did with their Vita. And keep in mind, the Vita actually started selling again when Sony just put out a small box that was very cheap, where you could just put in your Vita games and play with a PlayStation 4 controller on the TV. It actually saw a sale in prices. And listen, that's the thing. The Switch is not a Nintendo handheld. It is quite literally every single thing they looked at from the Vita and were like, oh, that was its problem. If the Vita had a dock, I don't know if the Switch would have ever worked out. Different timeline though. But no, the Switch was good. But it's a handheld. That's why it sold. I would have never bought the Switch if it wasn't portable. Like, why would I put it in our living room? Maybe. But why do I have a Switch? I visit my parents. I drive 6 hours on a train. Best time to play video games. To just put it mildly, listen, the console market will not change a lot. It has not changed since the PlayStation 1. We will have handhelds from Nintendo that sell. The Switch 2 will probably just sell less than the Switch 1, because, quite literally, most people just don't want to Switch. The PlayStation 6 will probably sell again really well, and everyone online will just have another Pikachu phase of like, what PC's better? Question mark. Ignore all the hassle PCs do. Ignore that people just don't want to do that, and they have a library, and they want to keep that library. That's it. That will be the whole fucking thing. Now, I'm still interested in what they will show next, because, you know, more single player games, I'm interested in that. Hell, if they port Infamous, I can annoy Agonia to play Infamous. It's a good game, trust me. Like, Infamous 2 is genuinely really like one of those, you will play it and be like, wow, why did no one tell me about that? Like, the answer is, sorry, it never broke out big. I also heard I want to do another Motorstorm, which would be, I would love Motorstorm. But that's me. Then again, I think one of the funniest bits that could happen, that would probably put Agonia in a weird state, is if they announce a new Wipeout.
Why?
By Sega.
Okay.
Then we would have an identity crisis. In general, Wipeout would also be it. But we'll see. Next week, I will definitely stream it. But is it next week? Wait a second. No, it's in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. But I will definitely stream it. Because I'm interested. Anyway, have a wonderful night, everyone. And see you all around. Bye.